Welcome to our lovely embodied self leaders. Those of you who tuned in to the episode, our first of a series of 5 for mindset practices journal prompts. Those of you who use them, whether from PayHip or your own or both. Emotional activation without identity distortion. Following the episode, I got some questions. I'm going to answer them, and then I'm also going to give you some resources. And I will most likely keep this in mind for our future episodes, of which the other 4: nervous system steadiness during uncertainty, relational integrity under pressure, capacity to feel deeply without collapsing or performing, and lastly, playful mastery of intensity. And so when you're regulating intensity, it's because of our lovely ventral energy. So in fact, ventral energy, sympathetic energy, dorsal energy. Those are 3 of the words that I thought of spelling out to you. A couple of the names that you want to look up, maybe books too. Polyvagal Theory, Stephen Porges, Deb Dana. And so Deb Dana has a nice way of talking about when we're shifting. So emotional activation is another word we use. And as I was saying, it's when our nervous system shifts and or gets into, I use the word gets into, but you could use the word shifts into specific states. I said instead gets into ventral, sympathetic, or dorsal energy. And so our embodied self-leaders, we live that restorative embodiment and grow good resilience. Restorative embodiment is another word, and here's where the name Alan Fogel, he is the one who I learned about restorative embodiment, modulated embodiment, and dysregulated embodiment. So for our relationship between states, for example, modulated to restorative, modulated states are often a necessary bridge to reach a restorative state. But that's something that is a side note, not part of what the episode's going to be on. In the meantime, though, if you're curious for a little bit more on the restorative embodiment front, restorative, modulated, dysregulated embodiment are 3 states of embodied self-awareness, ESA, a concept developed by researcher Alan Fogel to describe how we experience our bodies internally, our felt sensations, emotions, and internal physical states. Okay, so between the ventral energy, sympathetic energy, and dorsal energy, I can equate ventral with restorative embodiment, sympathetic with modulated embodiment, while I would do dysregulated with dorsal. But that's only because I'm connecting it that way. Don't make it into like it's not academia. In fact, actually, academics are who I learned from. And in my embodied certificate courses for trauma, one from embodied philosophy, and then a basic and or in-depth trauma, forget the title of it, but that was from Somatopia. And then I have a number of other educational certificates and hours. Dr. Daniel Siegel is one, for example. So with dissociative identity disorder and disorganized attachment, as well as interpersonal neurobiology, which I'm still completing. Then we have the relationships based on attachment category, which I'm still completing, and the one that I completed out of the 4, consciousness and self, if I remember correctly the title of it. So long story short, those who are embodied self-leaders don't struggle with ourselves, our purpose, our life, our world, people, our behaviors, their behaviors, or anything that happens outside of us because of our identity. And so emotional activation, our nervous system, when activated, it doesn't have the effect of identity distortion. Identity, I can look at it with our lovely Dr. Daniel Siegel and let you in on, we have an inner world, and that's with the self, the identity, the belonging. My inner world is not only my solo self, but it's also my relational self. When I own my sense of self with wholeness, I'm fully integrated. So integration and wholeness equal I wield the 4 facets of my mind because I own, observe, witness, narrate my own brain, and it's a integrated, not an impaired integrated. And so my left, which is the logical one in the words, works with my right, which is all the feels, somatic stability, and that's why ventral energy is what I choose to consistently use when I'm doing journal prompts or mindset practices. My identity does not distort because I'm not distorting with a fake self, inner critic, outer critic, not using numbing agents and or distracting agents. I'm also not putting on a pedestal grief or suffering, making it sound like they are actually why I'm growing. That's for the pseudo-live individuals. You'll spot them. Bethany Brand, Ruth Lanius, and other 2 names that I have courses with on in-depth trauma. So as I reviewed most of the words that I wanted, the last one, effective realism. This is where Kristen Lindquist, let me tell you. So her definition, powerful emotions that feel like irrefutable facts. And so when you have people with this effective realism, really strong charges, I want to go, what's is right, it feels right. And so here's where their core beliefs will be upheld with their adaptive child part mannerisms. That's adaptive child part from Terry Real, who will call it a losing strategy because he's working with couples. And I work with people who do personal and spiritual growth, and the mindset practices and journal prompts on PayHip are for you to continue doing what you do best. Be yourself under pressure. It's not tit for tat. It's actively, we use our human makeup for that which it was made for. And we don't lead the yoga, the retreats, but we can do workshops. And I love with mindfulness, Reiki, Akashic record readings, tarot, all of that spiritual toolkit that I also can accompany with my journey. I love when people are growing. But what I've noticed is when they're not able to be in their restorative embodiment and to create resilience the good way, they don't really stay expanding. And that's for another episode, not for this one. For this one, as I have accomplished, if you have questions, let me know. So again, ventral energy is for our lovely ventral vagal state. And that's from the polyvagal theory, Stephen Porges. And Deb Dana talks about it as well. And so the ventral vagal energy, the nervous system detects cues of safety within us. Calmness, joy, curiosity, openness, compassion, and social connection. That's the emotion activation. The physical feel is grounded, relaxed, engaged, regulated heart rate. So we don't need a resilience program. We use an inner growth mindset, self-reflective question or practice. And then within our MWE and our own biosphere, we get to practice not what we preach, but what we model to the children out there, because we unconditionally love ourselves and our brothers and sisters with that which is our restored embodiment and with our flaws and imperfections. We all can make mistakes, but we all get to work with our personality patterns and our temperament. So we create a more integrated world that will bring forth sustainability for all. And that will bring forth not only, thank you God, the perfection that He's made us with, but also that which our scientists have informed us of, emotional intelligence. Humanity is bountiful of the flow state and the blissed out state. Neuroscientists, neurobiologists, you name it. So Daniel Siegel, Deb Dana, Stephen Porges, Alan Fogel. We have Pat Ogden, Janina Fisher, Bethany Brand, Ruth Lanius, Bezel Vanderkolk, The Body Keeps a Score, Peter Levine, he's amazing, and the entire equipe of Somatopia that I learned from, the entire embodied philosophy keep, and more than just that. Thanks for stopping by. Keep an eye out for our episodes, the other 4. They will roll out. Oh, and check out Substack. Subscribe if you do want to join a community that likes to talk about self-leadership conversations and how we continue to model epistemic curiosity, discipline, diligence, and the goodness that we're all made of. For the children are already aware of. It's a small world after all. Let's make the world a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. And we will continue to teach about love and create leaders and to tell the children about the sad news. I'm going to leave you hanging now. Ha. See you again soon. No, there's no sad news. It's just we can't make everybody, I wouldn't leave you hanging. That's not nice. We can't make fear-based leaders choose to stop following each other around. It's like Diego's family from Ice Age. Just watch the movie. Diego leaves. Luckily, he's with Manny and Sid, a very, very beautiful, diverse herd. But Diego's family does not leave Diego's family. Like, they all continue to hang out, even once they're very, very not good leadership mannerism person goes, passes. So anyways, luckily we will move forward. And again, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.